tribe to be able, in some way, to be able to help those members who at this time cannot help themselves. We ask for your blessings, we ask for your protection, we ask that each and every one of the people here, that you bless and protect them on their way home, and you bless and protect them as they go about their business today. We ask these things in your name. Amen.
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 Pledge
I
pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Oh, is there cleanest? No, here, listen, I'll get that. She just would get these, because she was handling explanation.
Can I hear
I knew.
a motion to approve the agenda?
How much motion to approve the agenda? I don't remember when you got this.
Motion been made and seconded to approve the agenda. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Roll call.
Chief Chester Brooks,
Here.
Assistant Chief Charles Randall,
Here.
Secretary Nathan Young IV, present. Treasurer Joe Brooks.
Here.
Member Nikki Michael.
Here.
Member Brad Kilscrow. Member Jeremy Johnson.
Here.
Chief, we have a quorum.
I would like to put it on the recording that Councilmember Brad Kilsgrove was here. He's currently at the hospital, I think, checking in. Brad's sick. I don't know when he get cut about what's wrong with him, but I think under the circumstances, his absence should be excused since he was here to work and got sick.
Make that motion to excuse his absence due to sickness.
I'll second it.
I'd like to call for the question. Okay, all in favor of excusing Brad Kilsgrove as absence due to sickness? Aye. Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? We've got 4 tribal members out there. Would any tribal member or other guest wish to address the council or ask questions?
Can anybody tell me, I know Brad's gone, but what the status and current relationship between the tribe and the child development program is?
I guess, that's really Brad's department. I can say that there's still some turmoil going on between
I can imagine.
child care and the tribe. However, the management of the Washington County Child Care Foundation, Sherry Radcliffe and her subordinate employees are probably beginning to realize that they're somewhat dependent on the tribe. And they are getting their their drawdown money, which is now coming directly through the tribe monthly.
Okay.
This is just my personal opinion. I don't think they have any intention of closing down the childcare
I have other
at
questions.
this time. I will admit, I could be wrong, but
So,
I don't-
what steps have, I mean, these all may, I'm gonna ask them, only because I came, and I realize Brad's sick, and I pray that he's okay. And I can email him directly, but, what steps has the tribe taken in the childcare situation? Like, is there someone overseeing that, besides Brad? Is there someone on staff? Have they hired someone to oversee that?
well, Joe Exendine and Brad Gilsgrove and Linda
Okay.
Gilsgrove are all three
Okay,
working.
so, and what is the status of the Head Start program?
It continues.
Okay, and who's overseeing that?
Pardon,
Who's overseeing the Head Start part?
the same three.
Okay. What's the status of the investigation into Sherry's, misuse or, okay,
By investigation, I assume you need an investigation by,
well, back in September 2019, at the tribal council, meeting, and then after subsequent discussions with Brad, he mentioned that the feds were gonna step in and take over that investigation. So that's my question is, where is the investigation?
It's my understanding that the feds are doing some kind of investigation. We don't know if they're not keeping us posted on that.
Okay.
on the finances.
I would like to comment that our priority is the parents and then the student and the children and the faculty over there, and keeping the system going.
Okay, and back also in September, when I came to tribal council after this kind of all came out, there was mention of a draft or a letter of support to the child care employees. And that was voted on and approved, and then I think I waited a little bit and I asked Jeremy about it in a message. And Jeremy said that it came back from the lawyer and that it was on Chief's desk, or it had went to Chief. Well, then I just asked Brad about it as well, because sometimes I'll just ask him both. And Brad said that the attorneys said they couldn't release that. So my next question, I guess, is that still the case? So you can't issue a statement of, I mean, I know what you're saying, but that doesn't get over there. And it's not my job, it's not my daughter's job to relay to her other people that she works with that, hey, they really think we're doing a good job. And that if something does happen, because I did talk to Joe Exendine this week, and he said the exact same thing that you did, that, even if Sherry pulls, the next day they can report. But my deal is, I shouldn't be the one, I'm just a tribal member. My daughter is over there, tribal member, with the last name that she has, and pardon my mother. But we all know that causes a little more contention than it should. She's just trying to raise her kid and keep her job. So is that still the case, that the attorneys are still saying, no, we can't release that? Or is there some way, even in the DIN, why has there not been just a generic statement saying, I'm not asking you to name employees, I'm just saying that the tribe say, hey, we really think they're doing a wonderful job, the employees work hard, they're taking care of the kids, whether they're, what ethnicity they are, it doesn't matter. I just don't understand how that needs to be taken to an attorney.
We received a letter from their attorney, from Sherry's attorney, telling us that we were not to go over there. We would love to speak with the employees over there because we think they're doing a great job. I hope that it's getting across here. We think they're doing a good job, and we definitely respect them and the job they're doing.
I understand that, but I'm not asking you to go over there. I'm asking you to put a generic statement out.
Are you referring to like press release?
Even if because in the beginning it was gonna be in the
Yeah.
Examiner.
I
Okay.
think press release would be
A
good.
press, even, I'm not even asking you to do that. I'm just asking you, in our own tribal newspaper, say something. I'm not asking you to call anybody's name out.
I will write that statement. I'll
Okay?
take that upon myself. That's okay. Write it to have it approved before we
And I
put
mean, if you
anything
need to
out.
take it to attorneys, I'd just like to know why that is not, I guess, that's my question, is why is that not okay? When, in the same breath, I'm gonna say, was a Facebook post, if this investigation is still going on, Brad made a Facebook post and put pictures. Now, you're telling me this is an ongoing investigation, so to me, the pictures of that safe room are a product of the investigation. But now, they're public knowledge. Oh, I can show you on my phone if you'd like to see it.
I'm speaking for myself personally, but these blogs that are going on, there's misinterpretation, misinformation on there, and.
And I understand that, but you have to realize everyone fought for the right to have freedom of speech. I
That's
understand
right.
that's what he's doing. But since September, the end of September, nothing has been blogged about by Brad on either his personal page or his tribal council page about this. And then all of a sudden, on Tuesday, it's, here's these pictures, have you seen it? This is what was going on in the safe room. So to me, if you can't issue a statement supporting the people that are working their tails end off over there, but you can put these pictures out, I don't understand. And I know y'all didn't do it, and I'm just asking the question, why is that allowed how is that through the attorneys? The attorney said that was okay? It's a release of information. Those pictures and things that were in that room are under investigation.
Lisa, we have a problem. There is no criminal investigation. Let's get that clear, no matter what other people say.
That's
No
what
matter
we were
what they
told.
say.
That's what we were told.
Okay, I know you were told that, and that was not correct, and that was not true.
So the feds.
There is an OIG oversight
Okay.
of
Okay, and I
this.
understand that
And I've
that's,
talked to them.
okay, so why isn't that can we not say that that's what's
Well,
happening?
because there's demagoguery going on. There's demagoguery going on. There are people saying that there was a statement made in August that,
I didn't see anything in August, everything I saw was
oh,
in
of
September.
September, okay, that Miss Ratcliffe was going to be arrested.
Okay, I don't know what you're talking about, but.
Okay, but that statement was made, and it was
There's
in
been
writing.
lots of statements made.
Yeah, and what I'm saying is, there is a lot of things being hidden, there's a lot of things going on behind the scenes, and there's absolutely zero transparency
Yep.
as to what's going on here. I, as of last week, talked with officials
Mhm.
and learned a lot. I was stunned to hear that such demagoguery was going on, like the safe room, you know. It needs to be cleared up.
Yes, okay, because there
The
is no
membership
transparency.
needs to know the truth, because
Yes.
we say, save the Delaware children, and I believe in saving the Delaware children. But there's children over there that are also
Yes.
Cherokee.
Well, there's children over there that this has nothing to, I mean,
Exactly.
they're
Talk to
not
the
even
council.
Native American.
Talk to the council.
I mean, they're not Native
Right.
American, they're just, they're from Colombia. And they have nothing to do with this.
But there needs to be some more transparency and some more truthfulness.
Yes, and I understand, I get, you can't talk about certain things. So that is my question about the post, is why, if you can't even put out a statement to your people saying, we think they're doing a great job, but then you want to post about this, why is one allowed and not the other? And I think that's everything I wrote down. Except I feel like the timing of the post was a bit ironic. I feel like it's more stirring of the pot than anything, because nothing has been said since then. Nothing has been told to any of us. Even Hayden's like, Mom, have you heard anything? I'm like, got no idea, sis. But she keeps showing up to work, so.
I'm gonna make this is just my personal statement. And I hadn't made any statements about, criminal investigations of anybody. But today at lunch, and back several months ago, and this is a said for our Delaware employee, your daughter, your granddaughter. If the child care manager, Sherry Ratliff, decides that she's leaving, we want those employees to stay. The tribe's getting the money to pay them. Possibly better than the child care now pays.
I don't think so, but we pay a lot.
And nobody intends in any way for our members that are over there working to be out of a job. Now, that's just me talking. Now, I suppose I can't talk for the rest of this tribal council, but I bet you there's not a darn one of them that disagree with me.
And we're not talking about just the members of the tribe, any employee that we've got over there, we want them to stay, we want them to continue to work, and they will get paid.
And I understand you saying that, but it doesn't make it to them. So what I just go back to is,
How do we get that to them? That's what we
I
want to do.
just said,
Yeah.
I've already said, in our own newspaper, we print it. How often do we print it?
Quarterly. And
Okay, so then you just put something in there, like Jeremy said he would, I mean,
we could do that, but we need to.
then it's printed in something, and when Hayden gets hers in the paper, in the mail, she can say, hey, this is what the tribe is saying.
We need even better communication than just a quarterly communication. We need good communication with those employees and to know how much we appreciate them.
So, and that's what I'm asking, is
Yeah.
if we can put this other things out there, then that's what we need to do, because they're in the dark as well
I
as
agree.
the tribal members, because there's no transparency. And I thought when we first started all this, that's what the big deal was, is we wanted it to be more transparent. I mean, when Brad was talking, we need this, we need that, I get that, but it hasn't, and that's been 5 months ago, 6 months ago.
So, Brooke,
I think the reason that the tribal attorney was opposed to anything to be put in the public newspaper is because he's afraid we may end up in a lawsuit over this whole thing. So we don't know, we hope it doesn't come to that, but it may. So I think we gotta watch what we say. That's my opinion.
are there other tribal members? Bonnie?
I taught her well. I want to talk about a couple of things. The Constitution. Everyone here took a pledge to uphold the Constitution of the Delaware Tribe of Indians.
That's
And I feel
absolutely-
like you all have disrespected it.
Pardon me?
You announced at General Council, Linda Kilscrow was on the Grant Steering Committee. You announced that. In the Constitution, it says no judge can serve on a committee. Yes, he announced it. You were there, Charles. I watched it on video.
I know.
Yes, he announced it. She was
Bonnie,
a judge at the time. Let me finish. She was a judge at the time. I do understand she has since resigned just a few days ago, but that still does not say that you all didn't respect the Constitution. Now I hear rumors, and I love Linda. I consider her a good friend. But I understand that you're hiring her to oversee the Head Start. We have an anti-nepotism policy that tribal leaders in 3 other tribes have told me it's the strongest one of any tribe in the state of Oklahoma. But you're not upholding it if in fact that's true, that Linda is receiving payment. That's disrespecting policies and procedures. Also, there's an item on the agenda about the contract with the accounting department. The only reason that it's on there is because 3 and 4 brought a lawsuit. Because that can't happen. And so it's like a little covering our butts here. Then I hear, and Nikki, if this is not true, I apologize, but I hear Nikki Michael has said, I illegally, immorally, something, got her blood quantum. Nikki, I can tell you I never got her blood quantum. Someone else did and told me. Now, as far as Brad's post, yes, it was demagogic, made known. It was stirring the pot. You all have known about that exercise equipment since September, if not before. Suddenly, in January, this picture's put on there. I don't know if Lisa brought her spoon or not. She was gonna give Brad a spoon for stirring the pot, because that's all it was for. I've heard rumors he's running, and I hope he listens to this. I've heard rumors he's running for chief. If that's his form of leadership, I'm totally disappointed, because that's not leadership. He puts it on there and allows a comment on that post, whether the post was supposed to be put on there or not. But there's a comment on there that says, talking about Sherry Ratcliffe, charges need to be brought against Sherry and all of her employees. And Lisa and I both posted that was wrong. Those girls in that building over there had nothing to do with it. And Brad wouldn't remove that comment, but he removed mine because I called BS on hers. That comment is wrong. And those girls over there had a lot of trust and respect for this council, but they've lost it.
Was that comment on Facebook?
Yes, it is. And I messaged Brad and asked him to remove it.
Along with the pictures?
Yes, on Brad Kilstro's
I didn't read that in the
Facebook.
picture.
Well, there's 65 comments on there, Joe, you have to drill
I
down.
seen the picture, but I didn't read it.
Well, it was made, and I reached out to Brad and said, Brad, would you please remove the post or at least all the comments? Well, I'll have to look at it when I get to my computer. Okay, you're on your cell phone sending me a private messenger, which is on Facebook, but you can't go in there right then? No, I'm calling BS on that. And the post to me only seems, I hear Brad's running for chief, and if so, it sounds like a campaign, suddenly starting for November. And I'm calling bull on that, and I think this council, 6 members sitting here, and the 7th one I understand sick, and I pray that Brad gets well, but you all need to reach out to him and say, that was inappropriate. Yeah, he has freedom of speech. My son spent 3 tours in Iraq and 1 in Afghanistan. I know about freedom of speech. But there's something about freedom of speech and impropriety. And this was improper for any person sitting at this council to have anything to do with. And I'm asking you, as a council, the 6 of you, reach out to Brad and say, don't do this. You've known this for months, but suddenly it became this, so he can get patted on the back. Way to go, bro. These are comments on there. Attaboy. No, it was wrong what he did. And when I see him, I will certainly tell him that. But I think you are wrong with the council. Now that you're aware of this, that you don't speak up.
Only Joe,
Yes.
I have not seen what you're talking about, but I've heard about it, and that's on my list of one of the things that I wanted to talk about today. But Brad's not here, so we can't talk about it today. It's not the council. If you're talking about an individual, don't run the council down because you're.
Okay, but you, what I'm saying is you as a council need to reach out to him.
And
Because
I've
it's
had that on
wrong.
my list.
It's wrong. It's a reflection on this council.
It is.
And we're public people, and she has the right to speak about whoever on this council at any time she speaks.
Yeah.
She's not, I don't hear her casting aspersions. I know aspersions have been cast on people. You know, that's what we're talking about here. I don't hear her, Bonnie's not, you know, she's expressing her concerns. And because the person is not here, does not mean that they're not open to, we're now public.
Yeah.
We're all
And if I
open.
waited
I said
another
the
month-
council, we were gonna, I had that for the council to address.
But if I waited another month, that's another month, those comments are on there. And every one of those girls, none of them should be charged. It was said on, they should have been watching out the window. They're in charge of babies. They're not in charge of what, sometime when
We agree with you.
exercise
Bonnie.
equipment goes in there. And but that's a reflection on all of you. When one council member, I know that for a fact, because I know mine did. My comments did. And so it's a reflection on 7 people. And I resent that, totally. And I also, I know Chief has told me I shouldn't ever talk about employees. I'm not bound by not being able to talk about them, you are. But I want to tell you about an incident with your buddy, Joe Exendine. I asked for a private meeting, I can talk about it, you can't.
You can talk about it in executive session.
I'll just blog about it, Chief, never mind. You liked my blogs
Well,
before this
hey.
2014?
I'm simply stating the fact that if this council is gonna talk about employees, it's something that should be done in executive session.
I'm not asking you to talk about it, I would like to relate something to you that you witnessed. When I asked for a private meeting with you and Joe Exendine and had a concern, I asked for it privately because I had concern about a tribal employee. And in the middle of the meeting, Joe Exendine gets aggressive, slams his hand on his desk.
I-
And you did nothing. You didn't speak up. He said, I'm offended by you, Bonnie Joe, using your prior position on the tribal council to come in here and say this. No, Joe Exendine doesn't know me. Go back and look at my blogs. You all read my blogs before the 2014 election. You all saw where I was at council meetings before the 2014 election. That wasn't, I wasn't using my position. That's what I've always done. And that's what I will continue to do if you all won't listen. But you didn't stand up for me, Chief. I love you and I respect you, and most of the time I've had your back. But I was so disappointed that day that you said nothing.
Bonnie, glad you said you're disappointed in me. I won't say let's go into the executive session to say that. Do I hear other problems?
All I want you to know is I'm a tribal elder, and a tribal employee got aggressive with me.
Absolutely, you are. Bruce?
I'm good.
You're afraid now, aren't you?
I can say nothing.
Has everybody read the minutes?
Chief, thank you for bringing those concerns. I'm sitting here reflecting on how I'm handling things, and I try to be as transparent as I can be, and thank you for bringing it to me, because I always think about my own practices in the way that I try to.
Well, and like the Kills Close, I've always been close to your family.
And I just want to say thank you for bringing the concerns, and it does make me think about what I need to make sure is out there. I don't want to be, I want to be transparent. I don't want any question about the motives of trying to help our members. So thank you for the concerns, and Lisa, I will write that up and we'll try and get something out there. So, and you're more than welcome to talk to me at any time again. So, I'm gonna say thank you for bringing the comments. Sometimes it's hard to hear whenever you get criticized, but we need it. I need it. And that process is important to be a good leader.
If I may, I'd like to say thank you, and I'd also like to apologize on behalf of the council that you felt threatened. I'm sorry that somebody made you feel unsafe. and I'm glad you brought it to us. It's very important that we respect our elders, especially ones that have had service to our tribe, given service, given their time, worked hard for our tribe. Thank you.
Anybody else?
Make the motion to approve the minutes?
Motion been made to approve minutes. Do I hear any additions or corrections?
I was absent. I was absent, so, yeah.
If there's no additions or corrections to the minutes of our December regular meeting, all in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Second, Jim?
Pardon me,
We haven't got a second.
Need a second.
Need a second.
Mr. Second. Do I hear a
I'll
second?
second.
If nobody's got any additions or corrections, all in favor of approval of the minutes as written, please say aye. Aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
One abstention, Chief.
You abstain?
I was absent.
Let the record show that the minutes are approved as written. Uh, 5 yes and 1 abstention.
Do we need to approve the special meeting?
And then we have the minutes of the special meeting.
I'll make the motion to approve the minutes of the special meeting.
Do I hear a second?
I'll second it.
Motion been made and seconded to approve the minutes of the special meeting as written. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Chief?
Abstain. One abstention.
Let the record show that the special meeting minutes are approved, 5 yes, 1 abstention. Unfinished business,
Chief.
Bonnie.
Can I just ask for y'all to speak up?
Pardon?
If people are at home on Facebook, they can't hear y'all. I
That's
tried to
true.
watch a month ago,
We need a,
and you all are sitting there going, there's a devotion, and nobody can hear you. I would just like to hear y'all speak up. I can hardly hear you back here, much less over a Facebook post. Joe, you're an exception. I know.
I'm getting ready to say something.
But you others, I could hear nothing.
yeah, I've heard that comment from other people.
Right.
Joe, they hear you in Tulsa. I'll start to say nobody's ever
But they
complained
have
about
those
not
little
being able to hear me.
independent little speakers things for like $200. That's $1,400 you could get right here.
I agree that everybody speak out.
Pay for Chief. Thank you.
Unfinished business.
Thank you, Chief.
Do I hear any unfinished business?
I don't know, Chief, if this goes over in unfinished business or if we would do new business, but Amy is asking if we want to do an amicus brief or sign on to the amicus brief for the ICWA.
Onto the what, I'm sorry?
The amicus brief for ICWA, Indian Child Welfare. New business or old business? It's an ongoing issue.
I think we do.
I actually don't know what we're talking about.
Oh yeah, then we'll do new business.
Okay. Financial report.
3 months financial report, because I believe we tabled 2 before this one. But I understand, our county department has been swamped, and all we got was 1, which is December's.
I ask that the other 2 be considered, we got detail on the other 2, and it had the correct detail, but it just wasn't summarized.
Yeah.
And I asked if we would go ahead and accept.
And I went back and checked, by the way, and our 106 cash fund was in the last financials. It was kind of hidden, but it was there. All of us were having trouble finding it, so it was there. So I'm gonna read the financials for, this is December financials. Cash and checking, $3,454,175.76. As of December 2019, end of December, $3,343,034.22. For a negative $111,141.54. Investments, started off the month with $3,986,308.58. We ended up with $3,993,191.77. We gained $6,883.19. 106 fund cash balance, I got her separated this time. Started out, we had $349,661.58. At the end of December, we had $341,910.20. It decreased by $7,751.38. If we keep using that 106 monies for everything, it's gonna be gone for long. This is federal programs, income, and expenses. Cumulatively, funds awarded, $4,255,703. Year-to-date expenses, $2,118,417.49. Remaining balance, $2,137,285.51. This is tribal programs, income and expenses. Year-to-date revenue, $404,613.46. Year-to-date expenses, $443,034 for a negative $38,420.66. All of the financials are still intact in here in detail, but this is just a summary sheet, which we all agreed to several months ago. And it was gonna get changed, but I opposed it. I said, no, we want a simplified financial sheet.
I'll make the motion, we approve the financials pending audit for December.
I'll second that.
Is there any discussion? Joe Russ?
I will go back and review and check, see which financials we tabled. But I know for a fact we tabled 1 month and possibly 2.
November for sure.
Yeah, that was for sure, yeah.
So I'll go back and check, and I will get a simplified financial sheet for them. We had financials, it just wasn't simplified. We didn't have time to read 30 pages of financials.
Chief Brooks, would like to be acknowledged. My only, for discussion is, I believe we passed motions in the past with this council that both the CFO, and I understand we no longer have a CFO, but the CFO and the tribal operations manager will be required to attend tribal council meetings. And I'd just like to have it on the record that they're not. And I'd like clarification.
I'm not sure, but you asked them.
Well, we can just clarify later on if they're, like, we don't want to require them anymore unless there's in the motion, and, or if we're gonna excuse them every meeting, then let's excuse them every meeting.
I think they should be here, I agree with you.
Thank you.
I do also.
Just for the record, our travel manager has been ill and has food on his lung, and he asked to be excused, and we don't have a current CFO.
Charles?
We haven't voted on the financial.
The tribal operations manager hadn't been here for several months.
He comes, but only for the workshop.
But that's not when the people are gonna be here.
Yeah, that's what
Yeah, I
what
agree.
we voted on. We voted for it, attending the tribal council.
But he did ask to be excused this time.
Do we wanna vote on the financials?
Please.
Motion been
Pending
made.
audit.
Seconded to approve the financials pending audit. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
Jeremy Johnson.
That's,
I made motion, Jeremy.
okay, thank you, Charles.
Can I make a comment? Joe, can we approve the financials that have been postponed for the detail, and rather than have our financial team, right now, they're really loaded down. So they didn't get any cross-training from our
We had
previous.
the financials, just not a simple five.
We got the financials and I can.
And the 106 monies was in the other ones. We were all questioning that, that's why we tabled it.
Can we approve those pending audits since we've already approved the
I'm all right with
December?
that, if you wanna make a motion, do that.
I'll make the motion to approve the financials that have been postponed and pending audit.
Possibly set October and November.
Yes.
I'll second that motion.
We had a motion on the floor, it was never voted on. And now we have a second.
That's correct. The motion on the floor was to approve the December financials.
Yeah.
Thought we voted on that.
All in favor of approval of the December financial pending audit, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Let the record show.
Abstain.
Let the
Abstention.
record show that 5 approved, 1 abstained.
And since I know the financials were actually there in the packet for them 2 months, I'll second Charles' motion
To
to
approve
approve
those pending audit.
pending audit.
Okay, the motion been made and seconded to approve the financials for the months, was it
November and October if needed.
September and October,
October and
November and
November,
October.
if needed.
pending audit.
Yeah.
All in favor of the motion, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Abstentions?
One, Nathan.
Let the record show that financials for September and October are approved pending audit by a vote of 5 yes, 1 abstention. Everybody's got the monthly report. I doubt that we've all read them, although they did go out electronically. I know one of our members, Joe Brooks, never gets them.
I get them, but you can't open them.
I have, we do have the monthly report this month from Sherry, from the court, that we haven't had in the past.
Is that the report from the court not in this package?
I think it is. I think it is.
Early Head Start job here, partnership, monthly report.
Sure, so,
I have been, no, I'm not gonna stay on camera what one of our departments asked me to, because they were bragging about how much money something made, and I don't think we want to brag about that publicly, although I'm proud of it.
Right towards the last, about the last report. This is for resolution 2020-01. Immediately in front of resolution for 2020-101, last report.
Would somebody wish to make a motion that we simply enter into the record that monthly reports for, I presume, all departments are in here? Or does that even take a vote?
It doesn't take a vote.
Okay.
I will comment that child care did have a pretty detailed report here for a change. So
Ken?
we appreciate that.
Just that,
Yeah,
We
I
can't hear
don't know
you.
what you said.
the child care has a report in here, Sherry has a report in here of child care.
That came through the
Very
court?
detailed, looked good.
That came through the court or from her?
It's a monthly report, it came through, it's highly detailed.
Okay.
It was
Well,
good.
you just mentioned court or something, and so I was like,
Because we still can't hear y'all back here.
The court did insert a report, for monthly report. They don't normally because they're a separate issue, separate entity from the council. But they did enter a report this month.
sorry.
Joe Brooks.
Yeah, on the reports, Chief, once again, I'm gonna bring this to the tribal council's attention. Some of these reports are not getting here to the Friday before the meeting on Saturday. And we've asked time and time again for these packets to be put out on Monday before the tribal council meeting on Saturday. So I'd like to know what happened to that. And I've asked Charlotte numerous times about mailing mine, because I get cover sheet, all the rest of the pages are black. And it's not my computer, because I get PDFs from Charles, I get PDFs from my tribal attorney, and they open right up, so it's the way she's sending it back here on this copying machine. But we need to start getting these reports on time. And the tribal council packets.
I think it has to do with the printer, the way it does PDFs or something, because I've noticed on the website, some of the minutes and things that are on the website, and I try to open them, I'll get a black page.
Black, that's what's happening to mine, when she sent them.
I think it takes more memory, and maybe my machine doesn't have enough memory or something like that.
That may be what it is, I don't know.
Because sometimes I go through, sometimes I don't.
And for these program directors that's not getting their reports in on time, they should be written up. So that's all I have to say on that subject. But I'd like to see my tribal council packet 5 days in advance, so I got time to read it.
And I can agree with that statement, although I will say this Charlotte sending out these reports when it comes up blind, that's been happening to me off and on for several years before Charlotte even worked here.
Yeah, I think it's the machine, it's the
It's
copy
something to do
machine.
with the machine.
But what's so hard about taking that packet right there and sticking it in the envelope and mailing it? What's so hard about that?
Well, you're here each day, you could probably receive it back here, your email,
Yeah.
back here, mail back here.
Under new business. And somebody read the resolution 2020-01 enrollment resolution.
I'd be happy to read it, Chief. A resolution of the Tribal Council of the Delaware Tribe of Indians to approve tribal membership for January 18th, 2020. Whereas the Delaware Tribal Council of the Delaware Tribe of Indians adopts this resolution in accordance with the Delaware Tribal Membership Act to approve for membership individuals that have been initially approved by the enrollment director as eligible for tribal membership, and whereas the following applicants have been determined eligible by the enrollment director: Alexander Boyles, Natalie Boyles, Eric Irwin, Gina Irwin, Shane Irwin, Ethan Fritchie, Richard Jensen, Mallory Boyles, Nicole Ralston, Nicholas Soto, Michael Standiford, Mallory Swingle, William Sykes, and Hunter Wilson. Now therefore be resolved, the Delaware Tribal Council, the Delaware Tribe of Indians hereby authorize and approve the names listed above as Delaware tribal members.
Motion to approve resolution number 2020-01, enrollment resolution.
Second.
Motion been made and seconded to approve resolution 2020-01 enrollment resolution. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Abstention? Let the record show that the new membership is approved unanimously. Resolution 2020-02.
Chief, I want to defer from reading this since I'm in litigation about this, the previous ratification of this contract outside of the meeting.
Are you stating that you have a legal objection?
I just don't, yeah, well, I mean, it's a contract. It's a very long, and like I said, I've brought litigation about it. So I feel like I should not read it. This maybe somebody else should read it, is all.
Oh, okay. Charles, could you read it?
A resolution of the Tribal Council of the Delaware Tribe of Indians ratifying the contract between the Delaware Tribe of Indians and McNeil's Accounting and Taxes. Do you want to read all the whereas?
I don't think that.
I've noticed on two of the whereas, it's whereas on, and there's a blank date. That the financial officer of the Delaware Tribe was dismissed from her position. That we probably,
Yeah.
that needs to be filled in.
Then sometime in September.
Right. And whereas section 6.1.2 of procedure policy and procedures provides that the director, tribal operations manager, and chief may enter into agreements for the purchase of goods or services where such purchase does not exceed $5,000. And I don't know, there's a number of whereas, I don't know where it goes. Now therefore be resolved, the Delaware Tribal Council, the Delaware Tribe of Indians does hereby ratify the agreement extended into between the Delaware Tribe of Indians and McNeil's Accounting and Taxes as executed on October the 1st, 2019 by Chief Chef Brooks, and be it therefore further resolved, that the Delaware Tribal Council affirms that this action conforms to section 6.1.2 and 6.1.3 of the procedure policy and the procedures wherein the purchase of services from McNeil's Accounting and Taxes is approved as of October 1st, 2019 by the Delaware Tribal Council. I'll make the motion to approve resolution 2020-02 with the insertion of the dates of the termination of the financial officer where required.
Do I hear a second to that motion?
I'll second it. I'll second it.
Discussion.
I just want to confirm with our treasurer that that's exactly the policy. Is that correct?
It does occur with our policy.
No, it's open to interpretation in the sense of $700 per week times how many weeks. If it exceeds $5,000, it's common sense.
Well, this could be terminated within 2 weeks.
Probably should have said that.
It does that in the contract.
I mean, is it gonna be terminated in 2 weeks?
It says it can be.
Will it be?
The commitment,
It will go over, so it'll go over 5 then.
we don't know.
Okay.
But we did not have a financial officer, so we had to have a financial officer.
I'm gonna stay out of this discussion since it's in court. Is there any other discussion by those other than me or Nathan? If there's no other discussion, all in favor of approval of resolution
2020-02.
2020-02, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
Aye.
I abstain.
Abstain.
So that the resolution passes 3 yes and 2 no.
1 no, 2 abstentions.
Have 1 no and 2
One no and two
abstentions.
abstentions.
1 no and 2 abstentions. Okay. Sorry. Resolution 2020-03.
Mr. Nathan?
I'll read. A resolution of the Tribal Council of the Delaware Tribe of Indians to assume state historic preservation office functions on tribal lands pursuant to the National Historic Preservation Act. Whereas the National Historic Preservation Act was amended in 1992 to provide the federally recognized Indian tribes that federally recognized Indian tribes may assume all or any part of the functions of a state historic preservation office with respect to tribal lands, and the 1992 amendments recognize that the National Historic Preservation Program is strengthened by providing Indian tribes with the opportunity to be full partners in the program. The Delaware Tribe Indians' assumption of this function of our tribal lands is an exercise of government-to-government relationship with the United States, and our tribal lands include all lands held in trust for the benefit of the Delaware Tribe of Indians outside the boundaries of an existing reservation and the jurisdictional boundaries of the Cherokee Nation. And the Delaware Tribal Council designates the Director of Delaware Tribe Historic Preservation Office, Dr. Bryce Obermeyer, to oversee the Tribal Historic Preservation Office, to administer this program, and to carry out SHPO functions on tribal lands. Now, therefore, be resolved that the Delaware Tribe of Indians does hereby intend to assume State Historic Preservation Office functions on tribal lands pursuant to the National Historic Preservation Act, and designate the Director of the Delaware Tribe of Indians Historic Preservation Office, Director Dr. Bryce Obermeyer, as the Tribal Historic Preservation Officer, THPO officer, to administer this program.
Somebody explain that.
Bonnie, Joe?
I just want somebody to explain what that is saying.
Interpretation?
I mean, wrap it up into a Reader's Digest.
I do. The only thing I know about this subject is that a tribe has to have trust land before we can even have a THPO.
We've had one for years, but not us.
It gives us access to
But
the
it sounds
grass.
like you have to move it to Katy. I don't know, that's my interpretation of what I just heard. Is that true?
THPO for years
I don't think so.
because of Delaware Water Gap area and a lot of other areas, Ellis Island.
It sounds to me like he's trying to do this in an official capacity. Is that what we're, okay, so he's
Yes.
trying to make it official. My questions are, is he trying to do it as a 638 or just making a statement that it's official? That's kind of where I'm loose
Nikki, I
in.
can't hear what you're
It's my
saying.
understanding that opens up, does it open up with some areas that we can apply for grants that we couldn't before?
Well, yeah, but that's why you would want a TIPO, a 638 program. It doesn't say that specifically in this, so that's where I'm questioning why we have the resolution. If we have a resolution appointing him as the TIPO, is he wanting it as a 638? And yes, it would have to be
On the
Caney
land.
land and Caney.
Can,
Yes, it opens us up to more funding, but I'm also questioning
Yeah.
whether we should have his name in it.
that was my question too, whether it should be.
Yeah, normally names are not put in resolutions.
Yeah, we
That's
just want a
position.
tribal historic preservation officer, not.
It's the designee or,
Yeah, I would rather it be to a position rather than a name.
who wrote the resolution?
Well,
Dr. Obermeyer.
Russ.
can we, I guess the question comes, can we pass this resolution with the simple change that instead of it being his name,
Opposition?
we say the position?
Chief Brooks, respectfully, I'm sorry, I'm sorry to cut you off there. But I think that it's gonna require a director be named. I believe in the language eventually. I mean, I think that we can change, it's at our discretion who that director is. And it's probably, like many of the programs we have, a director must be named.
We've run into that before.
Yeah. So we can table it and get more information and have Dr. Obermeyer here next time. I'll move to table it.
I'll second the table
All right.
resolution.
Motion been made and seconded to table. Actually, don't think you have to vote on that to table.
Yeah, you do.
Yeah, you do.
Correct?
You have to.
Absolutely.
You have to vote. All in favor of tabling, this resolution, please say aye. Aye. Opposed? Let the record show that, the resolution is tabled. Guys, I've got about, 1, 2, possibly 7 items of business that we need to pass on. They all boil down to being more or much more than the $5,000 limitation our purchasing policy has. So I can't sign the check, and neither can anybody else. I'll take them with mine first, and then go on to suggestion and votes needed on coming from the tribal operations manager. I've got a bill here from David McCullough, our regular tribal attorney, in the amount of $7,300.02, or $7,302.48. I'll admit that this bill is probably double what David's monthly bills usually average, but we need to vote on it before I can pay it. I've only had to sit on it about 2 weeks before I can sign it.
Is that considered arbitration?
It's got arbitration, yeah, 2 or 3 times. Let me think here, it's nearly all about the arbitration.
I'll make the motion, we approve that invoice.
Do I hear a second?
I'll make the second.
Second. Oh, you made the second already.
Motion been made and seconded to approve paying the bill for $7,302.48 to David McCullough. Next one gets even bigger.
Can you take the vote?
Call for the question.
Call for the question?
All in favor of paying our attorney $7,some hundred, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
I'm not opposed.
All approved.
I've got another motion I want to make.
Let the record show that the attorney has been approved to be paid $7,200. Joe Brooks.
I want to make a motion that the chief be allowed to sign off on anything up to $10,000. But our tribal operations manager to remain the same, 5,000.
Was that a resolution?
No, I'm merely making a motion.
No, but I meant, was the original a resolution?
No,
The policy?
Are you sure?
policy wasn't a resolution, was it?
I think
I
so.
don't think so.
So you've got to announce that you're gonna change it, not change it till next time.
We can do that, change it the next time.
Modify the,
But if we don't change it, I
Yeah.
guarantee we're gonna be having a council meeting every week.
yeah.
I don't personally think it takes a resolution, but
If it was passed by a resolution, it will,
We approved the,
I don't know that it was
Procedures.
passed.
but you don't know it
Was
wasn't.
we approved the procedures, I think, of the resolution, didn't we? I think it
No,
had to
we
be.
did or not.
I think it'd be best to,
We passed so many resolutions, I can't remember.
Right,
I think it'd be best to look into it before we.
Check it out.
Before we kind of put ourselves in a bind.
yes.
Okay, I'll withdraw that motion.
So,
Next item I've had since,
I'm sorry.
about the middle of December, I don't know, 20th of December. That is a bill from the state of Kansas for real estate tax on the Kansas 3.13 acres that's now in trust. This $7,756.35 is for the first half of last year, which was before we got it in trust. And then there's an attachment to it. The second half of last year is the same amount of money, $7,756.35. But David McCullough tells me that that will be prorated, and it's not due till May, so I'm just seeking consent of this council to pay the last half a year of
First half.
real estate. Yeah, the first half a year, but the last half a year we're gonna be fully paying for in Caney, Kansas.
No, we shouldn't be fully paid.
It should be prorated.
Should be prorated.
We
Well,
have,
we'll owe about half of the second half of the year.
But we don't pay
brother.
it till
Didn't
it's
go in
prorated.
trust till September.
We're
so.
paying the first half this year.
Just pay the first half and leave the second half till they get it figured out,
Yeah.
prorated.
Yeah, that's what we're doing.
Yeah, okay, I
I'll
agree
make a
with
motion to
that.
approve the payments of the real estate tax for the first half of 2018.
Second.
Do I hear a second?
Yes.
You say 18?
19, I'm sorry.
Yeah, I was confused,
You're
sorry.
right.
Let's not go back in time.
Yeah.
Oh, I like to though sometimes.
Me too, about 50 years.
Then I've got a requisition here.
Hold on that, Tony.
oh, so, yeah. Call for question.
Question been called on property taxes for Caney, Kansas. All in favor of paying the state the last $7,700 they're gonna get for property tax.
Do we have a choice?
Everything. Say aye. Aye. Opposed? Abstentions? Let the record show that it passes unanimously. Then I've got a requisition here for all kinds of computer equipment, display port to DVI, docking, a Lenovo docking station, a Lenovo ThinkPad T480, a Lenovo keyboard and mouse combo, a Lenovo ThinkSystem SR250 server. I think Johnny Barker can tell us the need for all of this computer equipment.
I would be happy to, Chief. That purchase requisition is for the startup costs for the Head Start program as they begin to transition into the new building. It's also to have their, a server, 4 computers, a laptop, and the monitors for their setup.
Where do those funds come from? The Head Start grant?
Yes. This is correct. Those funds come from the Head Start grant.
Yes.
Yes.
If there's no discussion on this motion,
We need a motion first.
Well, I would like to make an observation. Couldn't these all be purchased individually and not have to go through the,
I don't know.
is that laughable?
Well, it's not kosher.
Could
Oh, it's
be, I
okay.
guess.
All right. Well, so we have $700 a month, $700 a month.
Well,
That'll go
if we're going
forever,
to
so
have a
I don't know why that's
council
funny.
meeting for a week.
I'm already ready to vote on it.
And one's way over 700 bond.
Motion been made to purchase $8,700 worth of computer equipment, 817611. All in favor, please say aye.
That's per month.
Have we got a
No.
motion?
Startup,
Start a one-time buy.
Start that.
one's, it's startup costs.
It was told by Joe Exon down that was per month.
This is for Head Start.
No, it's
Then
a
I know what
purchase.
it's for.
No, this is just computer equipment. And I was
It's
just,
computer
my
equipment.
observation was is that you
We
could
got a
make,
motion and a second on
You
that.
do it separate invoices. I see what you're talking about.
Do we have a motion and a second on that?
no, sir, I don't have it recorded.
Do I hear a motion to pay it?
So moved.
Jeremy Johnson,
So moved.
second.
Second.
All in favor of purchasing $8,176.11 of computer equipment, please say aye.
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 Opposed? Let the record show that it passes unanimously. The last one that I have is the big one. The monthly Head Start for December that's being passed on to, we all know who. $135,340.38. Do I hear a motion?
I'll make the motion to
Pay that.
approve that invoice.
Do I hear a second?
Second,
What was the for?
early head start.
It was their funds, they're the drawdown funds, and that's their invoice
Gotcha. I
to us, and
didn't
so now
understand
we're
that.
gonna,
Just
yeah,
said-
we're gonna pay the invoice
What's that number
that they've
again?
given us.
The
They're-
invoice number?
I know, 135,000.
Right.
135.
They are our funds, we're giving our funds.
Okay.
Okay. So that was
Gotcha.
something a little bit different now. We get the invoice, give them their funds.
We hadn't voted on that, have we?
No, no question.
Yes. Questions called, all in favor of paying the head, or passing the Head Start money to Washington County Child Care, I guess, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Abstentions? Let the record show that it's okay for approval to pay it. The next to the last item of business is for a copier contract. I think in the amount of $1,509,
1589.
$1,589.
Yes.
per month for 5 years. It's a 5-year contract. And I don't have a copy of that contract. This was given to us by the tribal operations manager.
Chief, we had
Is there a copy?
3 bids on that,
Yeah.
Chief.
3 bids and
There was 3 bids.
Yes, sir. Here is all this is the main thing there, Chief.
Yeah.
Summary of the 3 bids and services provided.
For Head Start,
No, for the copier contract.
oh, for
all the copies.
All the copiers on
Office
campus.
And putting one in here for
And-
the council,
Okay.
not for the chief council. You know, we tried to do that wanted to do that for a long time.
And Chief, if you'd like, I can summarize that for you.
You can,
I can elaborate about this.
What I noticed, the 1,589 that was suggested we approved
It is.
is about $53 more than the other one, but there's probably a reason for that.
And if you'd like, I can explain.
Okay.
So our contract with RICO is expiring in April after 5 years of having their product here on campus. The 4 copier machines is coming up for renewal. I took the liberty to actually go and explore renegotiating the quote and also obtain 2 additional other quotes so that you would have something to look at and to compare with. So what you received were 3 different quotes offering the same product, offering the same type of services. In essence, what we're requesting are 4 new copier machines with 2 additional small footprint machines to help accommodate the growth that we've experienced here on campus. So what I did was I called 3 different people, and obviously the main one was Rico, since they're already in-house. All 3 of them had their great services and great talking points about how they could improve their or support their line. Obviously, the ultimate decision was all of yours to make, and you know, Rico was the one that was in-house, and they're willing to offer some training as well as some of the other folks. With that, having said that, I defer to your ultimate decision here.
But you're actually recommending the RICO, even though it's $53.
Of course, because it's in-house, it's the same, it's enough, all 3 vendors actually offer 3 newer products, but Rico's already in-house. The features and the interface display are already the same general display, so that there would be an ease of transition for the users to go from what we have now to the newer product line.
Will they come and give all of our program directors instruction on how to operate it?
They have in the past,
Because the chief's getting PDFs in black.
and that's a fair
Cover page,
question.
and so am I.
And I've heard you say that during this meeting. With it being intermittent, it's kind of hard to pinpoint it, although I would concur with Charles Randall that it's probably machine, but we need to investigate that. And chances are it's probably just an update to the Adobe product on each of the individual computers. I can only speculate right now, but we can get the training.
I make the motion to approve the contract with Rico.
You'll have a second.
I'll second it.
Motion been made and seconded to approve the contract with RICO. All in favor? contract with Rico is approved.
Thank you, Chief. Thank you, Tribal Council.
The last thing that I've got on pay bills is BTC fiber switch parts. And it would, I think Johnny can tell us about it too.
I would be happy to, Chief. So what this proposal is requesting, obviously, we're moving into the new portion of the building. We need additional equipment. BTC came on site a couple months ago to offer us a solution in competing with our primary data circuit and phone circuit, AT&T. Currently, they are running fiber from off 75 to this cell tower behind us. They're offering us to tie into BTC's network so that we can have a redundant backup circuit to the world in case AT&T were to have any major issues. We can load balance between the two circuits, and we can have a backup in case either or go down. It'll be about 10 grand, but what it also includes in the service is our current backbone of our network, our 4 HP switches have been in place for over 8 years. The products are no longer supported by HP. They're out of date, they're out of firmware date, and it's time to upgrade to a more current technology. We are taking the opportunity with this proposal to also upgrade our 4 switches, the 2 downstairs, the wellness and the cultural preservation building, this building, and then since we don't have equipment over next door, we're purchasing another switch for them with the anticipation of the added growth. So currently, we're going to be able to improve our backbone here between the entire site or entire campus, and in conjunction, we're also going to redeploy, redesign, and reevaluate our wireless network, both the guest and the primary working wireless network, D-Tribe. Now, I know that was a lot, but the biggest benefit in all this is the hardware that we're getting. Currently, again, I don't have enough equipment to support or start that building up. And they're going to be able to include and manage the switches for us. That was just an add-on benefit to the whole thing. So
For
it's
all the buildings.
For all the buildings, yes, we're going to get 4 primary switches. It's going to basically improve our backbone, the infrastructure. The infrastructure hasn't been paid attention to for a few years. Yes, it may seem like a large investment. However, we've gotten full advantage out of our HP switches that are currently in-house. They've been in place for over 8 years. They've been working just fine. And it's time to actually upgrade them and replace them.
Johnny, just a question along this line. Do we currently have Wi-Fi support over in the other building?
There is no Wi-Fi support over there.
Okay, the reason I asked that, Census is wanting to do some training in-house and wanting to use our facilities, but we do have it here in this room right here.
We have it here, and what we're going to do is we're going to expand the guest and D-Tribe wireless networks here to also cover that building as well.
The only other question I have, I just want to make sure this is correct, it's $345 monthly for those switches?
Correct.
Okay, $345 monthly for those switches, maintenance and.
Right, everything.
All right.
Do I hear a motion to approve the 3-year contract?
I'll make a motion to approve the contract with BTC.
I'll second.
Motion been made and seconded to approve BTC fiber contract for $345 a month for 3 years. All in favor of the motion?
Can we have discussion?
You it.
Can we have discussion, please? Where's it coming out of? I'm in favor of it, but I just wanna know what, is it indirect cost?
I actually haven't been part of that conversation yet, but I would imagine that it will be. And since the infrastructure is IT related, so I really don't see it being specific to a department or grant related.
Indirect cost
So,
from
yeah.
everybody's pool, okay. That's what I need to know.
All in favor of the motion? Please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Let the record show that the contract with BTC Fiber for switch ports is approved
Upgrading our infrastructure.
unanimously. Do I hear further new business? Joe Brooks.
I'll make a motion that we furnish the Federal Department of Census a room for training to accommodate up to 20 people
In February.
in February.
Second that, go ahead, Charles. Charles Brown, second.
And that's probably not gonna be ready by then, so we'll probably have to use this room here. Which there's plenty of room for 20 people in here.
I'll take care of arranging that. One question, there will be probably 20 people using laptops in here for training, power source. Is there a way we can manage that?
I don't know about the electrical outlet power distribution inside the, or how that's even an entity that I can manage. I can try to, evaluate the wireless portion, the Wi-Fi network, and try to activate a couple network drops in here and maybe even try to, get a, small switch that may be able to accommodate maybe 10, 12 users directly connected to that switch. But as far as power, I'm kind of,
We'll vote on that. Provide room for census to play. Joe made the motion to approve providing room for the census for their
Yeah.
training, and we,
If
for the
there's,
second, we haven't got a vote yet.
if there's no more discussion on the motion, all in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Let the record show that the motion to let them use the room passes unanimously. Do I hear further? Jeremy Johnson.
Yes, our cultural director brought to our attention, he was invited to speak on a panel in Philadelphia for the history of the Lenape and the Lower Delaware Valley. There are going to be some Nanticoke folks there. His request, and I will make this motion in the form of motion, is that I move to approve our cultural director, Curtis Zuniga, to represent the tribe on the panel, and that he carry a letter from Chief Brooks emphasizing the tribe's position on fabricated Delaware as outlined in our resolution 2015-55, and that the host organization provide funding for travel expense. And I can provide you a copy of that word.
I'll second that motion.
What if they don't furnish the travel?
They've already offered,
Oh, okay.
so,
Or did you move?
yes, I mean,
I'll make the second.
I already did.
Oh, you did?
I beat you this time.
Motion been made and seconded to approve Curtis Indigo going to this function with carrying a letter from us that we don't agree that non-federally recognized tribes should be looked to describe our people's history.
I just wanted to make sure that one of the reasons I feel we need to approve it is because our voices as the true Lenape people and are being lost back there. The more we kind of abstain from getting in those conversations, the more we tend to disappear in those areas. And the fabricated, as we've said here, the fabricated tribes tend to take over and speak for us and speak, the misinformation to the people. So we're going, I feel we need to be represented in these discussions.
Nikki?
We're motioning that he carry the letter. I just want to emphasize that he's going to give it to the host organization. I'm not trying to be nitpicky, but
And deliver a letter.
that he handle, yeah.
I move to change the motion to say. The letter.
Hand deliver.
Yes,
Okay.
Sorry.
and deliver. Anyway.
If there's no further discussion on the motion, all in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Let the record show that it's approved unanimously. Bonnie Jo Griffith.
While y'all were talking about all this technological equipment and stuff, I do want to let y'all know, and I forgot it when I was on my soapbox, but that there are still no security cameras in this building over here, which is dangerous for the kids, and it's dangerous for the workers. If a child gets hurt, anybody can say a worker did it, or if a worker does it, they can deny it, and I wish you would look at that. I don't care what your relationship is with WCCCF or whatever. There needs to be security cameras. They have everything else. They got their Wi-Fi reinstated, everything, but not security cameras. No.
I'm not saying they were or weren't, but I bet you them security cameras were funded with federal grants.
I don't care where they were funded. They're not there.
I agree.
Is what I'm saying. They
I
are
agree,
not
but they
there.
belong to the tribe if they bought the tribe's grant money.
They need cameras though.
They need replaced.
Okay.
All right, I'm back off my soapbox. Sure.
If I hear no further
No,
new business.
Nikki's
I'm sorry, Nikki.
That's okay. Okay, so I have a request for whether we want to sign on to an amicus brief for another National Indian Child Welfare or an Indian Child Welfare case. This is from the National Indigenous Women's Resource Center. I thought she forwarded it to everybody, but it asked not to be forwarded. Just so, what I'll do is forward it since we're now acknowledging that it's not to be redistributed. Sorry, that's just what it says. And it's about a Seminole girl or a descendant of the Muskogee Creek Nation, and we're looking to go to the Oklahoma Supreme Court, and they're looking for those tribes that want to come on as an amicus brief. So I'm not expecting an answer here. I just want to bring it to your attention. I'll forward this to you now that we're acknowledging it, and maybe next meeting we can decide whether we're going to do that or not.
more thing, Chief. I want to thank the tribe for this little instrument here. I was put on supplemental oxygen in December, which I was told over 25 years ago I'd be on it for the rest of my life. I fought it for 25 years, but all I had was those heavy tanks, would only last about an hour and a half. Through the Title VI or a respite fund, Rhonda was able to purchase these. I know I have one and maybe one or two other elders do, and it lasts about twice as long as the tanks and is way lighter. So I just want to thank the tribe.
I think you forgetting it too. I was tired of listening to your
It's
guests.
it's making a big difference.
Turn it off.
It's making a big
It can be
difference
turned off.
in people's lives.
One last thing, Chief, with your permission, I'm writing a letter to the Boston Globe and to Elizabeth Warren apologizing for the insulting and hateful language that we sent to her, reflecting that many of the members saw no need to stir up a fight with the United States Senator over something she apologized. And I wanted to let you know that, and I want to be sure that's the record, but you'll be getting a copy of it, and you'll probably be reading it in the Boston Globe.
I have something to ask. I guess just a while ago when you were voting on the Head Start, Chief, you made the comment, we all know who it goes to.
I can't read these.
I can yell at you. You wanted me to address them all ago, and I'm doing that. But I feel like that is not something that should have been stated. You stated that, well, we all know where this is going. What we need to do is we need to stick to the facts. You need to say who it's to. Leave it. I would love to, more than anybody to say things about her. But when you said that, it's kind of a derogatory statement, which we're trying to get away from, I think, when I first talked to you. So I just wanted to point out that was something that I heard you say in here, and that I think that just, it goes to wherever, whatever the acronym is, I can't tell you it, don't want to know, but at least say where, WCCCF or DCCF, whatever, instead of making the comment about, well, we all know who it goes to. I just wanted to make that, I just think, respect, I understand, just respectfully,
We let our feelings.
trust me, and I can, and hence this. Or it could have been way more like my mother.
Oh,
Gilbert.
I'm gonna make a motion that between Curtis Zuniga and the chief, we draft a letter and send to every governor of every state that we've ever been in about these wannabe tribes.
Second that.
Where you going?
We agreed to it in there, but I want to make it in form of a motion.
When we say every state we've ever been in, it's not just the 9 states where we lived, but we've been in states all the way to California.
I could really,
Our people.
where we've been
I'm talking about
pushed
where
through.
we lived. I'm not talking about where
We don't need to
on
send-
scouting part.
We don't need one to send one to Alaska, is what you're
No,
saying.
we don't need to send one to Alaska,
You amend that to say where we
Has lived
lived.
where we reside.
Where we reside.
Historically resided.
Yes, I will, man.
Just discuss
Go ahead.
Discussion. Yeah, we discussed this. I just wanted to say what we're trying to do with this. Since it's so difficult, we've watched other tribal members and other tribes representatives try and battle the fabricated tribes. And great example for me is Chief Ben Barnes going out to Ohio and confronting. And it seems to, it doesn't really do a whole lot of good. We don't have a lot of teeth in our resolution. We don't do something with that. And it's a first step of trying to do something with that resolution in a different way by notifying the state, going to the heads, the people who control the money and the state recognition, and letting them know our position. And then also going to encourage the Delaware Nation and the Stockbridge, Muncie to do the same. So that was what we discussed.
And Jeremy, I can tell you, when I went to Philadelphia, I don't know, a couple of years ago, when they had the grand opening of the Museum of the American Revolution, and they invited only the Delaware tribe. They did not invite Stockbridge, Muncie, or Delaware Nation. We were the only one that was invited, and that was put on by the state of Pennsylvania.
I would say, I'm thinking, Bonnie, I think that it'd be important to amend your motion to include the National Congress of American Indian workshop on federal recognition. A lot of these tribes are working with the National Congress of American Indian federal recognition, and I think that first and foremost, they really need to know this, that they're working really hard for some of these people.
Yeah, I would agree with that also.
I'll amend my motion to include that also.
Is there any further discussion?
Did you vote on that?
Call for the question.
All in favor of the motion, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Let the record show the motion passes unanimously. I'd like to entertain a motion, if there's no further new business, that we go into executive session to discuss a tribal employment thing. Would somebody make that motion?
It is for employment purposes. I'll make a motion.
I'll second.
All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
350,
348.
348.
The rest